Good morning. It is 7:05 or maybe 7:06. I want to apologize. Just now jumping on. You know me, I had to try to get everything together. I like this setup a little better. So just wanted to get in here and let's get this conversation going. First of all, I just want to thank you all for joining me, whether you're watching me live or you're watching me later. I'm so glad that you are part of this platform. I appreciate you. And if you really enjoy Transformation with Tracy, I have a subscription service through Tracy Patton. And with that, you get 2 hours of free life, health and life coaching every month. So if you're interested in having more of a personal conversation or being part of a group where you can get more one-on-one attention or ask more questions, then please feel free to, I'll drop the link in there later, but consider being a subscriber. But even if you don't subscribe, I'm just so happy that you're here. I'm just so happy that you found your way to Transformation with Tracy. And I hope again that this platform is beneficial for you, because the sole goal is to help us become the best versions of ourselves unapologetically. And so today's discussion is part 2 of the seeds we sow. And so let's get started. So last week, we began the discussion of understanding the first principles of sowing seeds in our lives, the dirt and the seeds. As we discussed last week, dirt work is vital to preparing for our seeds. Dirt work includes or implies a deliberate act of looking into your past experiences, potentially painful memories, and suppressed emotions that might be buried so deep, within yourself. I had coffee this morning. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially, we grow and mature and become our more authentic selves as we dig in our dirt, removing those rocks and roots of old baggage, negative thoughts, negative self-talk, fear, anger, etc. Because if we don't do this, all of that work goes to waste. And so again, the seeds we sow is so important because everyone usually wants to just get to the harvest season, which is what we're going to talk about today, the principles of harvest. But you first, as we mentioned last week, have to do that groundwork. And that's number 1, is the dirt. Getting that dirt, because the dirt must be ready for the seeds to grow. Then, after your dirt is prepared, now it's in time for seed selection. Again, the importance of selecting the right seeds in your life is what's going to give you the harvest that you're looking for. And some of the seeds that we discussed that you want to plant are positive thinking, maintaining an optimistic outlook and focusing on the good in every situation, those kind words and actions, speaking kindly to others and yourself, offering help when it's needed, and performing those acts of service, stepping outside yourself. Active listening, paying full attention to what others speak and validating their language and their feelings, and also doing that same thing for you. Active listening, what am I putting into my own spirit? What am I saying to myself in those private moments? Active listening. Gratitude, nothing like the seed of gratitude to put in your life. So that gives you that expression of appreciation for all the good things in your life. And when you get that, when you sow that seed of gratitude, you can look at even the most challenging obstacles for you as lessons learned and the good that came from those bad experiences. The seed of forgiveness, letting go of resentment and choosing to move forward. A lot of us don't want to plant that seed of forgiveness because we believe that holding on to unforgiveness hurts the other person, and it doesn't. Forgiveness is never about the other person, it's for you. And also another seed is healthy habits, prioritizing your sleep, doing physical exercise, doing those 15 minutes exercises every day, that self-care, that moments and times where you sit alone, not necessarily in isolation, but just sitting alone, quieting your mind, connecting to God, your higher power. Those healthy habits are great seeds to sow in that great fertilized dirt. So now you're excited to finally reap all the hard work you've done, and you're doing the work, digging in the dirt, in your seed selection. It's probably the most anticipated time of the year, the harvest. Everyone wants to benefit what they've reaped. But the truth is, you cannot go looking for what you did not plant. You can only grow what you plant. Let me repeat that again. You can only grow what you plant. So if you pick seeds of anger, meanness, mean-spiritedness, that's what you're going to reap. And that's why seed selection is so important. So as we're getting ready to go through what to do with your harvest, but it's so imperative. You cannot go looking into this harvest if you haven't planted anything. If you haven't invested in making sure you're the best version of yourself, if you haven't planted those seeds of positive thinking, kind actions, words, gratitude, what are you going to be looking for? So I just want us to be aware as we talk about how to do the harvest. You can't reap what you didn't sow. So now you've done your seed selection and the time has grown, and now we're ready for the harvest. So what is the principles of harvest? Well, we all know or have heard the scripture or the parable, what a man sows, that shall he reap. Your harvest is a product of the seeds you've sown in previous seasons. And so I did a show 2 years ago on the seasons of the year, fall, spring, summer, and talked about how those seasons correlate to our life. You can't go, even when you till the ground and you get good dirt and you've made wonderful seed selection, you still have to allow time for those elements of your life to grow. You don't plant seeds today and go looking for them tomorrow. It has to go through the dirt. It has to push through the dirt. The seed has to have time to grow. And so part of that harvest season is it ready? In harvesting season, the crop must be fully mature for you to grow and for you to reap it. Have you ever eaten something that wasn't fully cooked, or a cake failed because it wasn't given time to rise? Harvesting is for us to reap, but we still must be patient. And that's hard when you're ready to reap. And so you would think, well, okay, well, I'm ready to, I've put the work in. I've been working on myself. I've been monitoring my self-talk. I've planted seeds of forgiveness. When am I going to see the harvest? When it's ready. And you'll know when your harvest is ready because it's your garden. And some things are going to be ongoing, like, hey, working on your anger or sowing those seeds of forgiveness, especially for people who continuously hurt you. That's not something that's like, oh, the seed is growing and I forgive everybody. No, that's a work. That's a work in progress. You have to continue to work to make sure that seed of forgiveness continues to grow in yourself. But when you're not moved, I could honestly say this in my own journey. When you're not moved by others' anger, when you're more conscious of what your response is than what someone else says, that's definitely that's a definite harvest season. When you are more concerned about how you're doing physically and you're minding your business more than you are looking over in somebody else's garden and wondering how they're doing, that's part of that harvest season. So again, when you're ready to reap and you're ready to get into the harvest season to dig up that which you've sown, you've got to make sure it's ready. Be patient. That's still part of the process. So once you have planted your seeds, it's time to harvest. The crop is ready. The harvest serves 3 key purposes. The number one thing of the harvest is you live off of it. You eat from it. When you grow your harvest, the first thing you have to do is eat or survive off of it. In a physical sense, when you grow something or you're growing food, or tomatoes, cucumbers, you eat it. But in an emotional, mental, spiritual sense, you live off the growth you made. You're less anger. You're doing less conflict. You're releasing what's toxic and not feeding your spirits. In other words, you first filled your own cup. So when the harvest season comes, the first key thing of harvest is you live off of it. When you've made that investment, when you've taking that time to really you've tilled that dirt, you've got good seed selection. Now you can fully walk in that forgiveness. Now your self-care and your mental well-being is your number one priority. You're no longer people pleasing. You're no longer trying to make sure that A, B, C, and D are good. Hey, they can't be no good if I'm not good. So what you've done, number one, in the harvest is you're filling your own cup first. You're making sure that you can eat off of everything that you've planted, the seeds that you've sown. Number two, you sell it. Again, in a physical sense, if you've grown a crop of corn, tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever, you sell that. Go to the farmer's market and you sell it. But in the personal season, or in the personal sense, during that season, you've reaped a solid business plan. And now it's time to sell your goods or negotiate to expand your territory or sell off the old goods and products so you can get more. It's that principle of letting go so you can get more. So when you're in that season of harvest, not only do you eat from it, you sell it. You exchange. Like I love the crafting community. They create these wonderful crafts and they demonstrate it and then they sell it. You have first they're eating from it because they're creating it for themselves, and then they sell it to you and I, people who want those products. It's no different in emotional sense. When I say you sell it, you are selling that good, you are selling that love, you are selling that self-healing. You are the walking example of your own harvest. And number three, you give it away. Once you've eaten for your harvest and made the necessary profit off of it, now that anything that's left over, you can release it and give it away. Your storehouse is full. Why are you trying to add more to it? This is what's meant by what's in my cup is for me and the overflow is for everyone else. You do not have a right to keep what you've been freed from. In other words, once you've matured in your harvest, you have a responsibility then to share what you learned, to give it away. This allows for others to own their own field and increase your territory of love and goodwill to allow for the next harvest. When we give it away, when we've learned and when we've eaten and we've become full and we've sold our necessary goods to make a profit and make sure that we're good, give it away. And I hope that this is what this platform is. I give it away. What you see is not someone who's, I'm as my cousin Kamika says all the time, I stay in school. I love to learn new things. But what I'm sharing with you isn't something that I've learned. I'm walking through it. I'm walking through it with y'all. I'm learning how to turn my own dirt over. I'm learning how to get those rocks and those negative things that are choking my seeds up, the roots. And it's not easy work. But because I understand the principle of harvest, because I understand that in order for me to grow my territory and prepare for the next season of my life, I got to give it away. And through that, I hope that me sharing my struggles, or even my not just my struggles, but my wins, my bonuses, my benefits, can set the stage for you to grow your own garden. And each one of us have that same opportunity to do it for someone else. Your struggle, your challenges is the roadmap for someone else's success. Please do not allow the negativity, the fear, the roots coming up to choke what's growing in you to stop you from sharing that lesson with somebody else. Your input, your value, it means so much to someone else. I know it does to me. So again, once you've eaten from your harvest, once you've sold what you can sell, number three, give it away. So the key questions to ask yourself in this harvest season, as you look over your harvest, as you've eaten from it, and again, this is all positive, but again, I'm saying the positive sense, but you're going to eat from it when it's negative. If you are not feeding that, if you have seeds, if you've sown seeds of anger, resentment, you're going to eat that too. And you're going to sell that, and then you're going to give it away. So the key questions to ask yourself as you look at your harvest, as you begin to pull from it. Number one, is this really what I wanted to harvest? If not, it may be time to review your dirt and seed selection. Because there's nothing worse than going to go eat something that you didn't want. If you look at your garden and you say, this isn't what I really wanted to harvest. If you're in a relationship with somebody and it's just full of anger and arguments, you have to ask yourself, is this really what I wanted? Is this what I wanted to receive from this harvest? If it's full of discord, is this really what I wanted to harvest? If your business is not going the way you want it to go, is this really what I wanted to harvest? This is an opportunity to go back and review your dirt and your seed selection. Did I till my dirt? Did I get rid of the rocks? Is this even my land? Like, is this the territory that I want to be in? Is this, did I pick these seeds because somebody else said I should? Or is this what I needed to do for me? Number one, when you look at your harvest, ask yourself, is this really what I wanted to harvest? Number two, can I eat, sell, or give away any of this harvest? Because if you can't use it, nobody will. This is meant to think about your legacy and what you're leaving behind. So I want to leave a legacy for my family, for my nephews, my grandkids. I want to leave a legacy that they will do better than I've always done. That they will be, and my nieces, I want them to be able to grow their own lives, not just financially, but I mean emotionally, mentally. I hope that what I do and what I accomplish is something that they can be proud of, and that my grandkids and my son can look and say, that's a good legacy. Because that's what my daddy did for me. My mom and my dad left me a legacy. They left me a legacy, and it's not just monetarily, but they left me a legacy of resilience. They left me a legacy of determination. I understand now what my parents were trying to plant in me, the seeds that they sown, and I'm becoming that. So again, can you eat, sell, or give away any of your harvest? Oh, good morning, Mommy. Happy Friday. I love you too. Can I eat, sell, or give away any of this harvest? Because if you can't use it, no one will. Think about your legacy and what you're leaving behind. Number three, is it time to look back and evaluate and think about how you can improve or transform what you've accomplished or what you've grown? In other words, when you look at your harvest, what can I do better? Maybe this seed should have been planted over here. Maybe this area of my life needs more sun. Maybe I need to focus more on this. Maybe I need, instead of buying so many seeds and spreading my territory so much and trying to grow so much at one time, maybe what I should do is focus on the things I'm good at. Maybe I should focus on growing the things that I love the most. If I don't know enough about this seed, but I really want it, maybe I need to do more research. Maybe I need to understand really the climate that these seeds grow best. Evaluation at harvest time is always key because it prepares you for the next seed of seasons. Or number four, is it even time for a change? Is it time for me to change locations? Is this working for me? Is this where I'm ideally supposed to be? Because sometimes the location is what's stopping your seeds from growing. Maybe you're in the wrong place, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. It's time to move on. So as we think about some of the key takeaways on understanding the seeds we sow, number one, and I'm going to say it again, do not overlook the dirt work. That is the fundamental step into growing the right seeds, because what's in you is going to come out one way or another. Step into that pain, anger, hurt, disappointment so that it can stop you from being the best version of yourself. Lean into what is hurtful. Lean into that pain. Lean into that anger and grow from and heal yourself. Get rid of it. Don't overlook the dirt work. Get that stuff out of you. Number two, choose your seeds wisely. Don't plant stuff because that's what other folks are doing. Find out what works best for you in your garden. This is where knowing yourself and what you really want is key. You will be so much more comfortable when you learn to love your own garden. When you know who you are and you embrace that, your garden is beautiful. It don't matter how it looks to nobody else. Your garden is beautiful to you. Number 3, the growth lesson. Every season, because you got to harvest, you got to plant seeds in the right season. You just can't plant, if you can't look, there's a season for everything. And every season has its own growth season. And we can learn so much about ourselves in every season of our life. Each season gives us an opportunity to be transformed even closer to being the best version of ourselves. And lastly, and the most important, don't waste a season of your life. If you don't utilize this season's opportunities, your inventory to get dirty, seed selection, then you can't have anything to reap when the harvest season comes. You may miss the very thing that you've been praying for, that job, that money, that house, that husband, that relationship, whatever, wife, whatever, because you played around and missed the right season for your healing and your growth. Time is the one thing that we don't get more of, so use it wisely. Jump in the chat and let me know what you think about the seeds we sow and now the harvest season. Again, I hope that this information you find beneficial to the growth and the healing of yourself, because baby, you are worth it. Get that dirt work done and plant those wonderful, beautiful seeds. It's time for my love notes because it's 7:30. And my first love note goes to Jan Orton. I met her through my cousin Kamika, and she's become a wonderful Facebook friend. I appreciate her. But she made a post the other day. Good morning, Lisa, Crazy Mom Creations. If you're not following Crazy Mom Creations, please do. She's absolutely amazing. How's your baby? I know you've been sick. Tell me how your baby's been doing. But she made a post and she said, I don't know who this is for, but it was for me. And I want to thank you for following the prompting of your heart, because that seed you planted was part of my harvest that you shared. And I want to thank you for it. And you blessed my garden. So I want to thank you. And my second love note goes to Chrissy Thompson. Again, somebody else I met through Mika. I want to give her a huge shout out on her fitness journey. I'm so proud of you, girl. Keep going. Just know I'm in your corner cheering you on. Chrissy. So you just keep going. Those are my 2 love notes today. And today I'm going to share from, my reading is going to come from my girl Morgan Richard Oliver. I hadn't read from her a while, but I'm still manifesting that she's going to come and do a book signing in Nashville. I said last year, this year, maybe next year, but I'm still manifesting it. Still planting that seed. And then this is her poem from the book, The Strength That Stays. You can be a purpose worker or a people pleaser, but you can never fully be both. One leads to the acceptance of people, while the other leads to the impact of them. One is exalted in humility, while the other is motivated by pride. Truth is, you can't live for the likes of man while fully submersing yourself in obedience to God, because your motives and movements are drastically different depending on which master you choose to serve. Everyone speaks of wanting to live a spiritually led life until they realize it will cost them the life that they currently have. Until they realize their ego must experience a death of a renewed mindset outlook and be a creature to be born. As much as this conversation hurts, it's the process of suffering that heals you from the inside out. It changes the mental narrative from "but people will think" to "but God is pleased." You will experience a multitude of worldly losses that will align with your spiritual wins. It's only through that darkness will you acquire the healing, desire, and ability to fully see and experience the power of walking in the light. The strength that stays. I'm glad to hear he's feeling better. And I want, kiss him for me. Give your baby a hug for me, from his auntie in Tennessee. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope this information has been beneficial. Please, again, consider being a subscriber to the Tracy Patton page. If nothing else, send me some stars, some likes, some thumbs up, send some encouragement, because everybody needs encouragement, and me included. And if this platform has been a blessing to you, please let me know. Please let me know if there's any topics, suggestions that you may have for upcoming workshops, just anything I can do to help you on this journey and myself to become the best versions of ourselves unapologetically. Hope everybody has a great Friday and a safe weekend, and I'll see y'all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.